I bought an almost full face of plastic-free makeup from Axiology Beauty. I tried it out with some mixed reviews. Overall, the look was pretty and minimal, a little bit fresh, but I did think the foundation was a fail for me. But I wanted to go even further and see if we could do a full face of plastic-free makeup. So I needed something for the eyelashes and the eyebrows. I found that in Bésame Cosmetics, the Cake Mascara, which is supposed to be mascara, eyeliner, and eyebrow color. So we're going to try the Bésame out today to complete the look, but I will also be applying all of the Axiology products so you can see that full face of plastic-free makeup. The goal of this video was no plastic end to end. So there is a plastic wrapper around the applicator in the Bésame Cosmetics. Other than that, everything was shipped without plastic. The Axiology came in this box, this whole thing, full face, in this little cardboard box, no plastic, card, recyclable, plastic, or paper, no plastic. This is the cardboard paper, recyclable. All the packaging of the product, paper, recyclable. So we also have the Bésame in the cardboard packaging. This is in the shade black. It doesn't appear to have other colors. Now this tin is not plastic. This is a metal packaging, so it can be reused. You'll see on the inside here, there went the applicator. So here is, it's gonna fall out. Here is the Cake Mascara. It did come with this wand. The wand appears to be metal without plastic, but the sleeve around it is plastic. We'll go ahead and put this in Bridwell so we can recycle that at least. And very minimal packaging of plastic. Nothing else was wrapped in plastic. So that is great. This is plastic free with this little tiny caveat, and we'll recycle it. Let's go ahead and dive right into the products, and I'll talk a little more while I'm applying them. We're going to start with the Axiology Fungdation because this is a mushroom-based fungi foundation. I got the shade 3. They do have a shade picker on their website that will help you pick. I think this is a little light for me, but I'm afraid the next color would be a little too dark, so I am happy with the shade. Here we've got, I do appreciate the packaging, and then this is the entire foundation. This is in a cardboard tube, and this is it. This is the whole thing. I will say I was surprised at how small it is. It is 0.4 ounces. Again, I have tried these products several times of the Axiology, and so I have thoughts already. A little bit does go quite a long way. You don't need a lot of it. But I still felt like, oh, that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it. This is what it looks like. And I'm just going to take this and apply it directly onto my face and just kind of swipe it everywhere. And then I'm going to blend it in with a brush. So one of the things is you push up on the bottom like a push pop. If you remember those, do they still have those? Anyway, so you just push it up from the bottom, and when you apply it to your face, it does kind of go back in if you use pressure, but that's a good thing because I do need it to go back in because there's no way to put it back down without pushing on it, and you don't want to use your hand because the product goes all the way up around the top. You can even see in the lid that there is product in the lid because it has touched it. So you want to make sure that you do get it back down before you put the lid on, because if it's still up, it goes around the rim, and the lid will actually, on the edge here, it can catch some of the product and make a mess. So I'm putting the lid back on here. Again, this is all cardboard packaging, and you do have to make sure to get it seated kind of just right so you don't bend any of the cardboard to keep the longevity of the packaging. I'm just going to blend this in using an It Cosmetics foundation brush. It's just like a flat kind of kabuki style brush. and I'll start just by dabbing it. And I should say, I don't want to wait too long to blend because it does kind of dry down. It is a dry foundation. It does smell a bit like mushrooms. It is not the best smelling foundation. Not the worst, but I'm not even a big mushroom fan, so I don't really love the smell of it, but I can live with it, especially if it's plastic free. It's not terrible. It does dissipate. You can see, like I said, I think the shade was a little bit light for me, but I think a shade up could be too dark. So we're just gonna blend it in everywhere. And it is not just me that says this foundation is dry. Remember, I have dry, mature skin. They actually say on the website, if you have more dry skin, to add some oil to help it spread. So it's known to be a bit dry, right? Well, again, I have tried this many times, multiple ways. And one of the times I tried it, actually a couple times I tried it with the Merit Base Oil, which you can use as like a primer. It's like a primer oil. I've tried it underneath and put it fresh on right after I applied the foundation. I tried mixing a little bit with the foundation, and the problem that I had was then it was sitting on my skin and separating from the skin, and I don't really feel like it has too hard of a time blending. It definitely seemed like it kind of made the foundation separate and not sit on the skin as well. So make sure if you have dry skin, you have prepped and primed and you're nice and moisturized before. You can try mixing it with oil. I didn't love the results mixed with oil. I liked it better alone. All right, now you can see it's on, it's blended out. It does look a little light, and it also looks like not much of anything. So I'm going to apply a little bit more and show you and see if we can build it at all. While the foundation is a bit dry, you'll also notice that it does still appear a bit glowy. So it does give a nice luminosity to the skin, even though it is a bit of a drier foundation, a drier formula. It is like a stick foundation, so those are typically known for, you know, being that way for dry skin. They're not necessarily the best for dry skin. And here you can see we have built up a second layer, and while it doesn't look bad, it doesn't look like much. It's really a no makeup look. And I just feel like it has no coverage. So while I don't think it's bad and it does have some luminosity, if you like a no makeup look and you don't have any redness and don't need any coverage, then I think this will work for you. If you have not dry skin, normal to oily, I think this would work better for you. Probably if you are a little younger, this might be a nice option. I think this might be a great option for teens, young 20s. I don't know that this is the best for mature skin, but if you don't like much coverage, this might be something you like. I personally don't think I would rebuy this because of the way it sits. I do feel like it does emphasize lines and wrinkles a little bit, and for some reason, maybe because there's not much pigmentation of the coverage, I do feel like it highlights any blemishes that you have. Overall, I do give it credit because even though it doesn't have a lot of pigment, it did kind of neutralize and tone down the redness a bit, but again, I don't think it looks the best. Sorry. I really wanted to like it. Moving on, I got the 3 sticks Endless Looks. This is their multi-sticks. They're recyclable, compostable, cruelty-free, and vegan, and all 3 of the sticks come in this little packaging. I got the light to medium shade. I do really appreciate the packaging. The colors are nice and vibrant and fun. Here's what they look like. How great. I did want to like this the foundation even more, because how great is it to have a full face of makeup that you could fit practically in one hand. This would be so easy to pack. You barely need any brushes to go with it. So if I could either get behind this foundation more, or, you know, I guess I could just replace the foundation for something else. You still have almost a full look in this little tiny multi-stick box. So even with the foundation, even if you used a different foundation, you get a lot for your products out of this little box. So let's go ahead and get into these. So for the 3 sticks, there's the shape stick, which is like a contour bronzing stick, the color cream multi-stick, so you can use that for eyes, lips, cheeks, and then the tinted dew is more like a highlighter. And they all are in their own little cardboard packaging. We'll start with the shape stick. This is in the shade medium. So I just pulled this off and you can see it's already pushed up a bit because I have been using it, and I don't push this one back in because I don't want to push too hard on my face. So I'm just going to use this kind of as like a contour bronzing stick in one and apply it, especially because it's a little light on the foundation. I'm going to apply it quite liberally to the face, and I also already know that it's sheer, so I will apply quite a bit. And I am going directly to the face. You could always apply it to a brush and then onto your hand, although I will say I think with this formula that's a bit tricky to do. It does warm up once it touches your face, but it does need kind of that warmth of your skin. You can again warm it on your hand. You can warm it on your hand and then pick it up with a brush too. And you can see it does blend out really beautifully just to about nothing. And it has a really, really nice light texture that doesn't feel like anything on your skin. I do think the foundation, you can kind of feel it. It doesn't feel heavy, but you can feel it. I'm using the same IT Cosmetics foundation brush just to buff and blend this all out. That's one of the beautiful things about this look, is how easy it is to achieve with minimal products and with minimal brushes. The price of the foundation is $42, while the set of the 3 sticks was $72. So this is not an inexpensive makeup. It's more aligned with high-end prices, definitely not drugstore prices. So that is something to consider. While it's great that it is plastic free, it may not be the most accessible, and also it is not sold in many stores. So I've only found it in like small boutiques, so you can't really go and try it out either. You can't really test your shades, you just have to order and hope. So here's the look with one layer of the sculpting stick in the medium shade. I'm going to apply just a little bit more to build it up, just for fun. And then we'll blend it out. Keep in mind, this is where I was saying you do need to be really careful when you put it on to get it on aligned just right, or you can sometimes catch some of the product. This one stayed pretty clean, but just keep it in mind. Do be careful. The other thing is, I kept them in this box, and this box is super sturdy, so I know they won't get crushed. If you have them in a makeup bag, they are really sturdy, but they do slide very easily. I would be a little concerned about them sliding, though the tube is really hard, so I don't think that it would get crushed in a makeup bag. It seems very strong. And again, having them in the box definitely reinforced it. So that was not a concern at all. They passed the makeup bag test for sure. They would be very easy to pack up and bring on vacation with you. You can see that The Shape Stick in the shade medium is buildable. It does blend out very nicely as well. It's got a very natural shade to it. So this one is definitely a win for me. I would say it's comparable to the Merit Bronze Balm, which I actually do have right here. So this is a very similar wash that you can build, but it doesn't look like much makeup either. It's kind of that minimal look, but it does add color, and it especially helped if the foundation shade is a little bit light. It doesn't feel like anything. It's creamy and blends well. So this one's definitely a win for me. I have tried this with other foundation too. Again, it's a very light coverage, but it works well, and it's one of my favorite products of everything I purchased here. So next we'll move into the Color Cream Multi-Stick. This is in the shade Loyalty. And this is the one that made a little bit of a mess for me, that I had trouble getting back in, but I was able to wipe it up no problem. So like I said, once it gets pushed up, it's hard to push down. So just keep that in mind when you are pushing up. Try to not push up too much if at all possible. Again, you could apply this on the hand. It is a bit... See, you can see I had a little bit of trouble applying it to my hand because it was a bit dry, and so it flaked off a bit, and then this is what happened to the packaging. So it did kind of make a mess. So that's why I have been going directly to the face first instead of going to the hand, because the face instantly warms it up. I guess my face is a lot warmer than my hands are. So my face instantly warms it up, whereas with my hand, I kind of made a mess. Though you can apply it to your hand and then use a brush to apply it. And you can see this one does have a nice pigmentation to it. It's not nothing, and I do like that. I think I said this one is light medium, but I think this is more towards medium. So I will say I'm fairly light, barely medium, and so it may or may not work for someone with darker skin tones, but they do have other shades. So let's just apply this right onto the cheeks. Carefully put the lid back on. I'm going to use the same brush again, for the It Cosmetics foundation brush, just because we're using minimal products and minimal brushes for this kind of no makeup look that is easy and plastic free. So we're using as little waste as possible. We'll have to clean as few brushes as possible, just making it easy and environmentally friendly. I was actually pleasantly surprised with how much pigment the blush has. And again, this is the shade Loyalty. I didn't put on too much, and I blended it out, but not too much. I think you can, I know you can build more if you want to. You can blend out more if you want less color. But I think this is actually a really nice color, and it has a surprising level of pigmentation. And it lasts. So now you can see we have the blush. One of the things I forgot is, so the cream color stick that I've just put on the cheeks would also be your lip color, could be your eyeshadow color. I like to use the sculpting stick just in the crease and a bit on the eyelids to just add a little bit of color to my eyes without using the pink color of the blush, because I personally just don't like how pink looks next to my eyes. I feel like it makes me look ill often. So I don't want this pink color on my eyes. I'm using the sculpting stick again, and I'm using a BK Beauty 202 brush just to blend it out. I didn't put too much on, and I'm just going to blend it out a ton just so there's a hint of color, but really nothing there. I also used the color cream as my lip color. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this to my lips. Now we have the same color on the cheeks and the lips. I do think this is a pretty color on the lips. I do like it a lot. I think that the formula doesn't feel drying, but it looks quite dry on the lips. It just kind of emphasizes the lines. But when I wore it before, it did wear quite nicely throughout the day. It lasted quite well for being, you know, such a kind of creamy emollient product. It did have some lasting power. It also wears off very nicely. Now for the final touch, we're going to use the Tinted Dew Stick, which is, did you see that? Sometimes they get stuck to the top of the container and then it pulls all the way up. So that is another con of the packaging. I am so happy that it's plastic free, and I want to support plastic free. And you know, that's one of the trade-offs. When it's plastic free, you have to decide, is it worth it? And sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Now, this is like a highlighter with some color, but personally, I'm not a big highlighter fan anyway. So I could have skipped this if I didn't buy the trio and just bought the other two. And I will maybe do that in the future, though this does give you an added kind of color to add to the repertoire, so you don't have only two colors on your face. This one is in the shade The Goodness, and I'm just going to use it kind of more toward the top of my cheeks. And then I'm actually, oh no, it broke. Oh, shoot. See it bent? Oh no. Oh, well, that sucks. Okay, I was able to kind of get it back in there, but bummer. I was going to kind of use a little bit on the eyelids as too, just for a little tiny wash of color on the eyelids. When I used this before, even though it looks fairly tinted, it's tinted and it doesn't have the pigmentation like the blush does. This one leaves more of just a wash of color, and then of course with the dew, it leaves a bit of luminosity as well. Which I will say, I feel like all of these products have a bit of luminosity, so you might be able to do with a little less, especially if you're not as dry as me. I have a lot of luminosity for someone so dry. So here we have the almost full face of plastic-free makeup. That was the full face of Axiology Beauty, but I obviously don't have mascara. My eyebrows aren't done, so we're going to hop into the Bésame to see if we can complete this look without using any plastic products. I'm a little nervous here because this is like a science experiment. We need some water. We got to get the consistency right. So we're going to do this together and see how hard it really is. Before I potentially make a mess, let me know what you think of the Axiology look, what you think of the products. If you've tried any, let me know in the comments below. And while we're here, don't forget to like and subscribe for more cruelty-free and vegan makeup. Little instructions here. So it says to wet the applicator with 1 to 2 drops of water, rubbing it back and forth on the cake until you make a soft paste. Do not add too much water. It will dilute the product color, making it see-through. For mascara, use the spoolie end to brush color onto lashes, pausing between coats to let it dry. Add more coats until you reach the desired look. For eyebrows, use the spoolie end to pull color through, filling in and defining brows, and then use the brush tip to shape the brows. Can be used as a stencil or apply in short strokes to create hair-like details, and soften the finished look by brushing a dry spoolie through the brows. Okay, so it says 1 to 2 drops of water. Okay, I should have brought a dropper. I have a pumper. Okay, I think that's okay. So I'm gonna squeeze this pumper of drops into hopefully 1 to 2 drops. Okay, I think that was good. All right, let's start through the eyebrows with the spoolie. Ah. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What have I done? Did I use too much water or get too much product on, or both? I'm going to use a makeup eraser. Let's see if I can get any off. Okay. Woo. Woo. Okay, so here is one eyebrow done with using the spoolie, just putting it on that way. Obviously, you can see the side-by-side comparison. I don't often use black to do my eyebrows. I use like a dark brown, especially because my hair is lighter than my eyebrows. My eyebrows are darker. I also have very sparse brows, so when the black touched my skin, it's also like this huge contrast, so it's very noticeable. I'm gonna go ahead and try it on the other side too. I will say it's not terrible. It's the first time I'm using it, right? So sometimes there's a learning curve, I'm sure. Again, because I have sparse brows, I do think I'll need to fill in the front. Like, it's not doing a good job filling in where it's very sparse. So let's try the other side. Scared. I think the second side went better. I didn't go in with quite as much product, and I was really careful to try to not touch the skin too much, because when it touched the skin, that's where the transfer was that made it look very unnatural and everything. So being sure not to get it too wet, obviously, as it said, and then not getting too much product on there. But I don't think it looks terrible. I don't think it looks great, but it's not the worst. So let's try the other side of the applicator and see if we could give our brows a little more shape. I'm not going to add any more water. This one looks a little better after the part that was wet that dried down too. It looks a little more natural. So let's see. Let's see if we can give it any shape. Ooh, okay. All right, it looks a bit harsh. It's not terrible, but it does look a bit harsh. I'm wiping off the spoolie and it's coming off completely blank on my hand, so I'm going to use the spoolie to go back through and make it look more natural like it suggested. All right, that's a little better. I think it doesn't look terrible. I think the black shade is just a bit harsh. And my arch isn't very well defined. Could I live with it? Yes. Would I get better with practice? Probably. Let's do the other side. Definitely not my favorite on my eyebrows, but okay. And I think this one I feel like the shape is really weird right now. I have to just, I just have to leave it alone. I don't have great brows anyway, so I can't necessarily blame the product, but let's just move on and see how it performs as a mascara. I'm gonna add a couple more drops of water because it is feeling like it dried out a bit. So maybe I'll start with just 1 drop of water. That was a big drop. 1 spray of water. All right. I'm going to rub this back and forth, back and forth. And we're gonna go in as a mascara. Okay, I can tell already that I've definitely got it too wet because it's splashing up onto the eyelid, and then also there is a little bit kind of pooling right around the lash line. You can see it pulling around the lash line almost like an eyeliner, which is totally fine, but I think that's because I got it too wet. I'm going to add some more dry product to my wet brush. I will say this would be like pretty annoying to take with you traveling or something. You know, like you're like, oh, I just need to throw some on in the car. Yeah, that's gonna be a pain. So you do have to plan ahead with this one to make sure you have the water with you, but not too much water or else you'll make a mess. Now I'm making a huge mess. I'm gonna try to clean it up. I do use cake eyeliner every once in a while, and I do actually like cake eyeliner quite a bit, and I can tell this will be a nice cake eyeliner, but I was really curious to see how it performed as a mascara. Here is one coat. You can see my eyes in comparison. This is the one that has the mascara on. This one doesn't. It certainly is providing some lengthening. I already have black lashes, but I think it would provide plenty of pigmentation as well if you had lighter lashes. It doesn't look like much, but I'll do the other eye and then see if we can't build it. But here's the initial comparison. You can actually see on the second eye, I got quite a bit of length. So I actually think lengthening isn't bad. Like, it's not my favorite mascara ever, but I don't hate it. Let's try and see a second coat. I can definitely tell it does matter, the consistency that you get the product. So we'll take a little trial and error, but once you get it down, you probably get it down. Maybe, maybe it's replicatable. Admittedly, I kind of made a mess with it, but the second coat is actually not bad. And for this kind of no makeup look, I don't even hate that it kind of transferred because it doesn't look bad. It just gives kind of a smudgy effect. Ooh, yeah. That's actually not bad at all for the second coat. All right, like I could get behind this, I think, if I keep trying it out. I like it. I know this is also very vintage. That, you know, the cake eyeliner and the mascara, I think, is like very 1940s makeup, and I have been getting more into vintage inspired makeup because I've been doing vintage sewing as well. Make sure to check out my last video if you're interested in that at all. Trying some more vintage makeup using that. Would you like to see that? A look of that? I think that would be fun. I do have a vintage with a twist lipstick that I have been waiting to try so that I can actually try it on camera. So I think we should go ahead and give that a try too. So stay tuned for that. And also I cannot see what I'm doing at all. I am not sold on the eyebrows just yet, but I'm liking the mascara. I think this is a hit for me that I want to keep trying and exploring it more. You can see when it gets really wet too, you can get a lot of color payoff. And so that would be great for the cake eyeliner. It is a true black, which is also great for the mascara, I will say. So I'm going to put that aside for now. I'd like to try this Bésame off camera a bit more to get more comfortable with it. I definitely will include it in some more videos, and maybe then we can try it as an eyeliner and see how it works for that. I'm going to leave it as this for our full face of plastic-free makeup. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this full face of plastic-free makeup, and do you have any plastic-free makeup recommendations? In my opinion, I think that this plastic-free makeup will work for a softer, everyday look. It certainly does cut down on some of the waste, and it is fairly easily achievable, though I think that until you get the hang of it, the eyebrows and mascara take a bit longer. If you want to see the Merit products compared to the Axiology beauty products, I will have a short doing some swatches, so you can be sure and check those out. Thanks so much for watching. Again, don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe. I'd love to have you. I will see you all in another video very soon, but until then, take care of yourself.